you know your race better than we do. There's probably something we haven't asked that you really wanted to ask of one of your colleagues. So whatever that question is, I'm going to start with Senator because he's probably, no, you never have opponents, so you probably haven't done this before. But you did last time around. So.
That's not true. I've had some very serious campaigns. First of all, I've spent many hours with the candidates, and I really understand where they're coming from. I don't have any questions.
No question for either one of them?
No.
Okay,
Sure.
Mr. Garcia.
Well, I kind of asked my question to the senator, and I have great respect for him. But a lot of things, I mean, you've been in the pinnacle of power. You can literally almost single-handedly promote legislation or kill legislation. You know, why did it take so long to get the law for the firefighters? I mean, why? I mean, we should have gone to arbitration years ago. I have a radio show. I've been talking about that for 2.5 years. Well, so why has it taken so long? A lot of these things that you've done, when you seem to have been in a position to have implemented them all these years. It's like you just discovered Houston.
Well, you know better than that, because first of all, it's a city responsibility to work with the firefighters. And it was only after the Turner administration had gone 7 years, and they do not have a new contract. They can't recruit cadets. It was on the front page of the paper, sends the wrong message. The morale is all-time low. Okay. It was only when it became so extreme that I offered to pass legislation, which the city is still fighting. But if you look at my legislative record, it's one of great accomplishment. It's become much more difficult and frustrating in recent years because the Republican control. There are 31 senators, 19 Republicans and 12 Democrats. So it's very frustrating. That's the reason I want to come home and do a reentry program that I can't pass in the Senate. That's the reason all the hateful legislation passes. Most of my career we had the 2/3 rule. Everything we could talk about today, women's health care, voter issues, I can go on and on, gun legislation. None of that would even reach the Senate floor most of my career. It was only when they changed the rules and now we have to deal with it. And then we make a lot, our positions known, we fight them on the transgender, mean legislation, and then they've got the votes to run over us because they don't have the 2/3 rule. So I've done the very best, Gilbert, and I'll bring that same passion and experience to City Hall.
Well, I congratulate you for what you did with the firefighters.
Thank you for your question.
Okay, Congresswoman, a question for either of these guys.
I want to give them both a question, so I hope I can be quick on both of them. And I'm like Senator Whitmire. We've gotten to know each other and respect each other for the work that we intend to do. But I do note, Senator, because this has been my life work as well, I think we have too many guns on the street. And there was a period of time that you had noted as getting the 10th legislator that's gotten the most money from the National Rifle Association. And guns are killing people. The open carry is killing people. And we need to have leadership that will be unafraid of speaking to our citizens about the importance of gun safety, gun regulation, and less guns on the street. But you are a darling of the National Rifle Association. How do you explain that?
Glad you asked that to put it on the table. You know I get an F from them since 2011. As chairman of criminal justice, their legislation would come to my committee. When it was a hunting organization, most of the legislature supported the hunting rights. In 2011, I left them when they wanted guns on campus. I don't get any contributions. You know that because you've done your opposition research. And you know I'm currently an F rating with the NRA. So if you're going to ask me a question that you already know the answer to, at least know what.
But how do you explain 2019 and being number 10 on the amount of money that you got?
Sheila, you know that's not true. I haven't gotten any support from the NRA since it became a out of control gun rights group in 2011. So, like other things you've said about me, you know it's wrong because you've endorsed me in most of my races, as you've asked me to support you in your most recent campaign. So only until other elected officials asked you to run, that you decided that our friendship was going to be strained. And I respect that, but I'm very focused on what I want to do for the city of Houston.
And the people who asked me to run was real people the faith community,
Yeah.
and a large number of them, and they represent a lot of people, a lot of my constituents.
And if I could ask you a follow-up, why was that? What were they not satisfied, or what could they not get? Did they not believe they could get from John Whitmire that they thought you would be able to provide as a mayor?
Deep, committed passion and reality of interaction and engagement. I've been there. I've been there. Every crisis that the city has had, my boots have been on the ground. And I'm a problem solver. And I know how to work across jurisdictional lines.
So are
And
you
I
saying
work-
the senator hasn't been there during these
Well, you need to ask,
disasters and crises?
you need to ask the people who are engaged and find out
Okay.
whether that was the case.
What is your question for Mr. Garcia?
Minority businesses are, and you are that. Can you, I remember the $900 million that I brought to to Metro, and you've been kind enough to talk about that. But could you not have done better, or what could you have done better, or how would you do better on minority and women-owned businesses?
Sure. Like anything else, you always look back and say, I sure wish I had done better, I could have done better, I want to do better. So I think your question is great. A lot of things were already in place. One of the problems with Metro is it had been sued before. And so now we cannot really have sort of minority set-asides or minority targeting. Everything has to be small business targeting and small business. So there were some obstacles that are inherent in the process with Metro. But there's no doubt, and I will admit, you were on me all the time about more. She was, I'll say it. I think I'm proud of what we did, but we could have done even more. There's no doubt, Congresswoman.